Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to yet another episode of The Hope in Between with Major and my good sister, Eunice Elliott. Listen, I am so grateful for all of our listeners, our loyal folks that are rocking with us as we figure this thing out along the way. The hope in between is your midweek relief because one thing life is going to do is life. And I want us to understand that in the midst of it all, we can still hold on to this great, great phenomenon that is hope. But
Mm.
before we get into it, and after you click like and or subscribe, that's to our iHeart listeners that are probably rocking with us via iHeart podcast, or those that are on our page on youtube.com/ now that's major. Wherever you're tuned in, we want you to collectively do what we always do before we really get into it, and that's be present in it. We catch our breath on the count of three. Everyone, do it with me. 1, 2, 3. Inhale. Now let it out. All right, one more. 1, 2, 3. Inhale. Now let it out. All right, this time I want you to consider everything that's on your plate. Whew, I know that may be a lot for some. Everything that's pulling at you, everything that's requiring time from you, requiring attention and energy from you, be it good, be it bad. Because the duality is that life is full of all of it, the ups and the downs, the sideways and the rounds. Take a deep breath in, pull it all in. 1, 2, 3. Now let it out. That right there is surrender. It is the gift of our humanity that we can release this thing called life into the hands of the divine that will certainly sort it out and work it out, so long as we agree to catch our breath, find the pace of grace, and keep showing up. Beautiful people, it's the hope in between with Major and Eunice Elliott, and I want to know what my co-host and the producer of this show has been up to. Eunice, talk to me.
Not a damn thing.
Oh,
No,
Lord.
I've been chilling.
Just
I've been
been
chilling,
easy.
good and bad, right? I have been taking this as a restorative time. But
Mhm.
as a creative person, I do feel like I have not produced. And a lot of times we have this internal battle between resting and being conditioned to feel like if we're not producing, we're not worthy. And so I
Mm.
fight that almost every other day. I have a few weeks before our tour kicks back off. And so I am claiming these next few weeks as a time for rest, getting healthier, taking more walks, stretching more, drinking more water, not sugar binging, just all the things that keep a premenopausal girl like me going. What about you?
Oh my goodness. Listen, I definitely you kind of triggered something that is an area that I'm going to be working on and entering into as part of a challenge from my fellow fraternity brothers. And that's the sugar intake, the fitness challenge, just doing better by me so that I can
Mm,
enjoy a little bit more in life. I think the older that I'm getting, the more I'm starting to see that everything impacts and has a
yeah,
cause and effect. It's kind of
it's crazy.
disrespectful to
It's
see
crazy.
that,
It's crazy.
yeah, what we
Yeah.
eat impacts
Who
the way
knew?
we
Who
move.
knew what
Yeah,
you put in is what you get out? Who knew?
who knew? I
It's
uh
funny
I
because you
am
hear those things, right? And they mean something different when you start feeling it. Yeah.
that part. I am just realizing I got to do better. I really enjoy good food.
Same.
That's just what it is. And I travel a lot, so I get to taste the good food from all over.
Right.
Um, I had quite a really cool weekend. Oh my goodness.
I've heard. I can't wait
Yeah.
to hear about your cool weekend.
Yeah, I was busy for the most part. I did a an event this weekend for Inglewood, the city of Inglewood, where I was one of the headline performers for their community day. It was super cool, a lot of fun. I sang, and the people seemed to really enjoy it. Of course, that "Why I Love You" hit even harder. They had these fans that said, "I love Inglewood," and they're singing it as I'm singing "Why I Love You." And it was just so great. The councilwoman there was super special as well. I love the city of Inglewood. Shout out to D Smoke, one of Inglewood's own, that was there, and all the good people that helped to put that together. Um, then I caught a quick flight over to Vegas. Yeah,
Oh,
baby.
what was going on
Yeah.
in Vegas?
Yeah, so I had to go to Vegas primarily for a wedding of Alicia and Chris, two good people that I respect greatly. But I was able to get there a day before to participate as an audience member of the
Okay.
Cowboy Carter tour. And when I tell
Okay.
you,
Now wait, were you night one or night two?
night two, I was the
Oh, you been the
finale,
last show.
the
The last show.
finale show of the
Okay.
Cowboy Carter tour.
So I
Um,
have questions for you. I have
yeah,
questions for
yeah,
you.
do
I did
tell.
not make it to this particular tour. I went to Renaissance when I was out in LA. I did make it to Cowboy Carter. So I feel like I've seen the concert because so many people stream it and upload videos and you see these
Yeah.
little moments. I know she had a lot of surprise guests for this final show. But as a fellow artiste, I
Hmm.
just want to know the general before you get specific. What do you feel as an artist, as a singer, as a writer, as a performer when you are watching her perform? What's the feeling? What's the thought?
Wow.
Mm.
And it can be done.
Mhm.
Wow, and it can be done.
And what's it? What is that you start talking about?
The possibilities, the dreams, the visions, the concepts. Like I know that Beyonce has brainstormed and ideated. It didn't just come from oh, this is a template format of how you do a tour or how you do a show.
Mhm.
These were ideas that were ruminated over, that people took time to break down and to strategize and to figure out how to build out. And it showed that the dream can be realized.
Mhm.
Um, I have a bit of a personal connection to Beyonce's movement in that she is from Houston, Texas. I saw a great portion of her journey from Destiny's Child, who made a special appearance. And I
Yes.
felt that was coming. I just felt it in my shondo. Um, I saw the evolution of what hard work produces, and the power of committed excellence, what that yields. And it was unbelievable. I was wowed. I was inspired. I was encouraged. I was empowered.
Mm.
I can't say that I know every single Beyonce song, but I know enough to be able to hang. And I think
Mhm.
even if you don't know a Beyonce song, you would have experienced that and been like, "Whoa,
Right.
this is
I
this is
was
some
telling a
powerful
friend
stuff."
that recently. I said we were talking about Beyonce, and she said that Beyonce isn't necessarily her style of artist. She respects
Hmm.
Beyonce. she's proud of Beyonce, but And I said that's the thing about going to a Beyonce show is she's an entertainer. You will
Period.
be entertained. You don't have to know the songs. You don't have to have downloaded any albums. You don't have to have a favorite Beyonce song, but you will be utterly and completely entertained.
Entertained. She's
Yeah.
an entertainer. She is
Yeah.
an all around entertainer.
Mhm.
There is no corner, crevice that is left unaddressed.
Mhm.
Um,
She's thinking about the lighting. She's thinking about the graphics on the floor, the graphics on the screen, the in between, the transitions, the dancers' movements, the costumes, the band, all of the move is so much stuff. And when you see the behind the scenes footage of her, that she's so involved in each thing and so meticulous of each moment. She doesn't let somebody just come and tell her, "Hey, this is what the show is going to be." She's like, "No, no, no. I know what I want it to be."
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. She even said at the end of her show, I've been working on this tour for many years. Guess what she also said? Before the Renaissance tour, she was
Mhm.
working on this Cowboy Carter tour. So
And it broke records, set records, broke records.
that part, that
And
part,
and keep in mind, this is the other thing about, and again, when I listen to I will say, when I heard Cowboy Carter when it came out, I listened to it a few times. Nothing really caught me like that song that I'm gonna keep singing.
right,
Seeing the visualization of a lot of these songs made me go back and re-listen and say, "Oh, okay, yes, I love that." But it was like seeing the embodiment of the song, seeing her sing it, singing the dancers move to it. It's like, "Oh, this is my jam now."
right,
But
right.
it's interesting that if you say Cowboy Carter and this was a country music tour, quote unquote, or whatever, is she set and broke records of a party she was not invited to.
That's right. That's right. But wildly of a blueprint of a concept that inspired the very party she wasn't invited to.
Right.
Like
Right.
because and she tells his story where like you're seeing the days of old where you have the originators of the sound that is country, and
Mhm.
and they are brown faces,
Mhm.
black folk, you know, and it was just beautiful, the storytelling, it was beautiful. It was just beautiful. I actually felt vindicated because
Mhm.
I am very much um like a Beyonce when it comes to all of the pieces matter, from the
Mhm.
audience to the performer to the producers to every aspect, it matters. And while I am not yet privileged to have the resources to do it on the scale of a Beyonce, I absolutely got it. I
Mhm.
absolutely understood it. I absolutely know when something was a little off, how she, that was not what she planned, or that
Mhm.
like, and but the fact that she showed up in excellence anyway, like
Right.
it was just, man, man,
And the
Michael
other
Jackson,
thing that,
Bruno
yeah, I was gonna
Mars.
say, you see someone who works hard, Michael Jackson, Bruno Mars, they think of the audience's experience. You can tell they respect the audience's time and money that was spent to come to this. You know,
Right,
there's a lot of social media clips that will go on from various artists that they like, they mad to be there. Like
right,
you're like,
yeah.
y'all sing it or whatever. And that's the thing that I think Beyonce exudes joy. You know, it's meticulous. You know, everything's coordinated, everything's rehearsed, but also she has these moments where she allows you to see her taking it in and laughing or giggling or react or reading the people's names on the signs. She knows how to curate this moment to make everyone feel like, whew, I'm glad I took my time and
I
my money to do
saw
that.
husbands,
Yeah.
fellow husbands. Now we do know that Beyonce, you know, inspires a gay community, a female heavy community, but straight men were like, it felt so dope because like, you know, you see all of the folks coming to this space, and the fact that this woman had everybody up, grown men, not the expected Renaissance community.
Hmm.
And it's not, that's not a knock to them. I'm just saying an entertainer will entertain all people, the
Right.
greatest of them.
I
And
saw I saw a
that's
black
what she
man
did.
on TikTok speaking to that. He was saying he was at a Beyonce concert. He was at a Cowboy Carter concert. He stepped outside. He recorded this video. He's like, "Look, I'm at this Beyonce concert with my girl. I'm not a Beyonce person. I'm Jay-Z, so I'm with Beyonce through marriage." He said, "I have never seen anything like this before in my
Exactly.
life. He's like,
Exactly.
I didn't come here as a Beyonce person. And this, he said, she's insane. This is
Yeah.
crazy that this is what she is doing.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
It was the Michael Jackson experience of our time. I
Mm-hmm.
only saw videos of Michael, and this is what Beyonce was very, very, very close to bringing that type of
Mm-hmm.
energy. I've seen Bruno Mars. Bruno Mars is an incredible, sensational performer as well, in my
Mm-hmm.
book. He's one of the best to do it out right now. I
Right.
haven't seen Chris Brown live, but Chris Brown is that type of entertainer. Um, and and also I think Usher is that. I've seen other artists do it, but I'm telling
Mm-hmm.
you, nobody's doing it like our girl B. And like I said, I don't know every single song of hers. There was a lot of songs that I didn't know words to, and
Mm-hmm.
I would sit down but just take it in because I'm just like, this is incredible. But
Mm-hmm.
there was some stuff where you're just like, you'd be stupid to sit down on that. It was incredible. Hats off to her and her incredible team. I'm super proud of her. H-Town proud. Houston, Texas proud. The only thing that I would have loved to see is right after bringing up Destiny's Child, DC3, bringing up all of them. The
Mm-hmm.
like to bringing up Latoya and Latavia. If she had included that, oh, that would have rocked her. But it is what it is.
Right.
Actually, I
I
think
think,
Latoya is filming right now, so she wouldn't have been
yeah, I was
able
gonna say I
to
saw
get out of it.
footage of her kids, Latoya's kids, being at a concert, her taking
Yeah,
pictures with Latoya's
Tomicus,
kids.
yeah,
Yeah.
brought them to the
So I
to the
think I think sometimes we as audience members, hold out hope for things that aren't actually hope worthy. It's like, yeah, okay, we're past that. When they say Destiny's Child, I think this is the iteration that they'll put
It's
out.
not
But
fair.
it is what it is. But let me say this to you. So I always wonder what, and it's still different because you're a man, but you are an entertainer, you are a singer, you're a songwriter, you're a masterful performer. I always wonder, what do you feel with I'm not in the Beyonce category. I really don't think anyone is, but I'm saying, as someone who does music and sings, what do you feel? Because Beyonce, and I'm always the first one to say, I'm not even in the Beehive. I never even think that I'm in the Beehive. I don't think I'm like
Yeah.
a feverish fan. I'm just highly respectful and proud of her.
S-
But
ex-
it's like,
Honestly, I think we probably share the same thing. That's exactly it.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm very proud of this woman. But it's like, as a singer, as a performer, as a songwriter, when you walk out of that, is your brain, like you said, you felt like vindicated because it can be done? Did it put gasoline on a fire that's already in you, or a certain idea that you've already been thinking about? Like, what does that do for you, being in somewhat in the same field?
So I think that gets right to the theme of today's episode: greatness. Which I am I? Which I am I? And I loved when you brought this to us. Are you insecure? Are you intimidated? Are you inspired?
Which
If you
I
ask me the
am I?
question, which
Yeah,
I am I think that's brilliant. That's brilliant. You should really do this writing thing. Like
I should do
you
this
should
for a
be
living. Yeah.
yeah, you should do this for a living. Um, but I will say, for me, inspired all day, absolutely. Yes, let's go.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that's honestly what greatness does for me all the time. It always inspires me. It helps me to take an introspection of, am I doing the work to see and realize all that I'm hoping for and wanting? It also helps me to do inventory checking on, do I have the resources, or how can I get the resources? What do I need to help me get this vision out? But I'm inspired. I definitely, a fire was lit under me, Eunice. I wish sometimes I was like, I was sitting there like, see, I told you, y'all think I'm doing too much. I'm trying to tell you. I'm trying to told you this is what it is. And
Mm-hmm.
it was really dope because my manager saw this show in LA, and he's like, I was just blown away. I said, so now now that you're blown away by Beyonce doing it, do you get why I care so much?
Right.
Because
Right.
I get often like, Major, you don't have to care that much. Like it's gonna be okay. And I'm like, okay is cool, but amazing is what I'm aiming for.
Right. Right.
Brilliant and genius is what I'm aiming for. Jay-Z, who made his appearance and it's even small moment, he knows how to show up and fully stand in the
Mm-hmm.
greatness of the moment, no matter how small it is. It's gonna be big when he steps in it. And that's what I was in. Man,
Mm-hmm.
golly, golly. It was,
Well, let me
man.
tell you, like I said, I didn't go to Cowboy Carter. I've been to two previous Beyonce, Renaissance, and I think maybe On the Run 2 or something. I never remember the names of the shows, but both times. The first time I went, I said, I'll never go to another Beyonce show. The second time I went, I said, I'm not coming back to see Beyonce. And let me tell you why. At the end of like 3 hours of this woman doing everything and caring so much about my experience, I get this like post-concert depression of like,
Mm,
see, and now she gonna leave. And now she going somewhere else. Look, it's like this, you know what I'm saying? It really is a weird feeling of like, I said, I can't come back up in here no more because I don't like the way it feels when she stops. Right. And I said, I
wow.
ain't coming back in here to see this for her to leave. Right. And so then
Mm.
by the time I went to the second one, I was like, and here I am again.
Ah!
When you still standing there, she says, I love y'all, get home safe, good night. And she leaves and the lights come up and you stand there like, excuse me? And this is 3 hours later.
Yeah.
What? What is she done? Is that it?
And she literally gave you 3 hours of an
She ain't
incredible
got no
show or
opening
2 hours
act.
of it.
She like is going, right? And it's like I call it a post Beyonce depression, like postpartum depression. There's a post Beyonce depression that comes over you. So I would say my initial who am I? The initial thing is I get sad, she gone. Why she gone? But let me tell you, you mentioned Jay-Z. Now, I appreciate and respect Jay-Z. I have an asterisk on it. I think most people who love Beyonce, like, this is the man that cheated on Beyonce. But she forgave him. We still working through it. Um, but Jay-Z had a documentary out years out. I think it's called Made in America, based, and it was like documenting his festival he would do. And he said that he believes everyone has genius level talent. It's just a matter of whether you'll ever tap into yours. And
That's
sometimes when
it.
you see someone in their genius, that's what inspires your genius. And so
Right.
that always stuck with me because so many people are out
Can
here
you
thinking
say
they're
it
not
one more
special.
time for our listeners what he said? Everyone has a what? Say it again.
Everyone has genius level talent. It's just a matter
Yes.
of whether you will ever tap into yours. And when you
Yes.
see someone else in their genius, hopefully it will spark yours, right? Now, if you're looking at Beyonce, your spark should not be, ooh, I'm going to go sing and dance like Beyonce. But there is a question of what could I do as me that will be this level? And because she's doing what she's doing as her. And if all
Right.
of us have genius level talent, a lot of us will never even scratch the surface of it. One, we've been told we're doing too much. We've been told it's not available to us. We've been convinced we're not worthy, we're not deserving, we're not talented enough. There's all these things that will discourage people from their greatness, right? One of the things
Yeah.
that I hate the most is how much talent is never pursued or exposed because someone's gonna make fun of how somebody looks, and they're gonna do that.
Well,
They're gonna talk about how somebody looks.
let me nip that real quick because
That
I
drives me
will say
crazy.
this. I will say this. I firstly thank you for bringing up that quote by Jay-Z because I do believe it is very true that everyone has a genius inside of them. It's if you're going to tap into it, if you're going to put it to work. I
Right.
think that environments have caused people to believe that they don't have a genius for whatever reason or that they're not worthy enough of rising up in their genius. I think
Mm-hmm.
genius is often calling us to move with it, to dance with it, but
Mm-hmm.
sometimes because of our conditions, we have felt unworthy of taking this dance. Can I have this
Mm-hmm.
dance? You absolutely can. If there's a new day, absolutely the opportunity and the availability and the permission to step into the space of genius is given you. It is
Right.
afforded you.
Right.
But I will say this, I remember in Houston, Texas, when people said she sings too weird. for it to
Mm.
work. I remember when instructors voiced, stop singing like Beyonce. Y'all,
Mm.
Beyonce's not singing technically correct. And Major, because I know greatness. I really do. From early on, nobody could tell me I wasn't going to be great or that I wasn't great.
Mhm.
I literally said, what if that's the thing that will make her successful and make her the star that she truly is?
Mhm.
Maybe that's the difference that makes her so special. And I remember a teacher saying, that may be, but that's not correct.
Mm.
And I just stuck with what I knew.
Mhm.
Watch, she's going to show and prove. This was before she went solo. This was around 98, 99 when Destiny Child first broke on the scene with No, No, No. And now we have a Beyonce where people mimic the way she sings, trying
Mhm.
to be another version of.
And
But the
but this is
thing,
what's funny. If they say
yeah,
somebody when somebody says it's not correct, you think about how many of our standards and our benchmarks and our guidelines were created by non-geniuses.
but that's the very thing. The
Right.
reality is what becomes great often starts as different.
Mhm.
It's
Or wrong or
often the
incorrect.
or
Yeah.
incorrect
Weird.
or
Yeah.
abnormal or
Mhm.
odd or strange.
Mhm.
That's what is great. When Gaga came on the scene,
Mhm.
people were like, that's just weird. And
Right.
then Gaga became the superstar. When
Mhm.
Bruno came on the scene, it was like, what's going on? He's doing all this old fashioned type of stuff. Like he's this throwback. That became the superstar. Michael
Mhm.
Jackson, that the superstar. Elvis Presley, that the superstar. And I'm not saying it in that they weren't inspired, because every single artist that I named literally were the making of inspiration, but they moved in the superpower of their uniqueness. And that is what makes them the quintessential examples of greatness. Oprah
Mhm.
Winfrey, Michael Jordan Oprah took talk shows to a whole nother level. Michael Jordan
Mhm.
took basketball to a whole nother level. Showing up as their authentic selves was their superpower. And that's what we
Mhm.
call great. People say,
Now
literally,
the
you'll hear people,
challenge is though, here's the
yeah,
challenge,
go ahead.
right? So somebody listening to this podcast is thinking, "What's my genius?" Right? You might be a bigger age than you used to be, and you might think it's too late. It's never too late to scratch off the top coat of your genius and try to discover it and figure it out. And so a lot of times people might call it, what's your dream, what's your passion, what's your purpose, what's your genius? That's kind of all, synonymous. When a lot of times people don't know because they've either been in survival mode or trying not to lose capitalism, or, oh, I had these kids and so I didn't have a chance to think about this, or I had to do this. Or I always tell people, think about what you would wake up every day and do for free. That will help you start figuring out what is your passion, what is your gift. Some people would say, I would wake up and paint
I
every
think
day. I would wake up and cook every day. Like whatever the thing is that you would do every day for free, not for a living, but I would do this every single day for free. That is the beginning of figuring out where your genius lies.
I think I agree that that's an element of it. I would go even further to say, what is the thing that you do well easily? What is the thing that you do well easily?
But imagine how
We
many people
all
would say, I don't know, because they've never done it. They're like, I don't
know.
know what I do well.
I think a lot of people, they may not have done it, but there's a lot of people that have an understanding of things personally that they just don't pursue. You literally have a under it's something that you just understand, you just get it, and it's easy for you. Not everybody activates on it. Never no Not everybody takes action on it, but I do believe most people know the things that they understand easily and could possibly do well if they just did it. I just think a lot of people don't feel qualified to be able to do it because of circumstances. But there's, you've seen it. Haven't you seen
Yeah,
like the people,
I
remember
think
growing
young
up?
people especially struggle with knowing what they do well. And I think part of that is they've been so overscheduled. They didn't have recess. They didn't have time to just figure out what they do well. I
Hmm,
mean, there are so many people I've met that have no idea what they do well. Right?
hmm.
They go to their job, I go to work, I da 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 da. And it's like, but what do you love? What do you do? I don't know. I don't do anything. And it's like that's the real heartbreak to me. It's so many levels of heartbreak in purpose. And one, if you know what it is and you choose not to pursue it, or you feel like you can't pursue it, but even more so, not even knowing what it could be. And it's always different. I have found by generation. I used to do a dream series, living the dream series here at our local libraries. And most of the people that signed up for these series were older people, like a generation, like boomers. And what was interesting is I'm sitting there talking about dreams and following your dreams. And for them, that was a whole different thought process when they couldn't even go to a certain bathroom,
Yeah,
and so it changes by society's standards of what you've been convinced or socialized to believe about
yeah.
yourself, right? And so now that we have so much more exposure to so many things, like most young people, you say what you want to be, they're gonna say, I want to be a YouTube star. They're gonna say they want to be an influencer because they know it's available. But it's
And
like,
I
influence people to do what?
I think
What do you do?
I think with that, it goes to what we do at the start of every single episode, the pause, the taking a moment to sit with your thoughts, to sit with where you are. You're not going to be able to discover these things more clearly when you're moving, when you just have a bunch of stuff going on. You're going to have to take intentional time to sit still, to collect your thoughts and put thought to paper, writing down what excites you, what interests you. And then from that list, what of those things do you understand well? Do you connect with easily? And then you'll be find yourself finding a shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter list. And then you take on the very thing that continues to speak to what is natural of you. And this has nothing to do with what everybody else is doing. It is literally specific to what excites and awakens your heart. What moves your heartstrings, what makes your heart beat. And you will, if you will only find that in taking still moments. The crazy thing is depression has a way, there's, while we hate depression, we can't stand it, it actually isolates you and brings you to a place where you have nothing but your thoughts. And from that, you can actually use the information, allow it to be a gift. That this is now a time where I can sit still with my thoughts to sort through them. Oftentimes, depression just gives you a compounding of thoughts where you don't think that you need to process through them. But now that you've been sat still, take a moment. Every single person listening here, take a moment away from the noise, away from the duty, away from the pull and the responsibility. Allow your thoughts to start flowing. In the quiet, allow your thoughts to flow. Put it down on paper. These are the things that I enjoy. These are the things that I'm interested in. These are the things that I think if I had all the money in the world, I could possibly do. Now start to take true assessment. Do I understand this thing well? What comes natural to me? What speaks to me? And this you can do at any age. I love that Eunice brought up that she spoke to older people that, grew in conditions and circumstances that limited their scope of dreaming. But now that we're here, now that you've arrived at this show that is the hope in between, don't pick the eye of the impact of greatness that is simply insecure or intimidated. Because my thing is, if you see it, you can actually be it. It just takes work and commitment. Choose the I that is inspired by greatness. Be inspired to be more than what your environment may have given. Be more than what your thinking has allowed you to think. But it starts with you getting still so that you can assess it. There is genius in all of us. I've said it before. Far too big is the sky for only one bird to fly. And oh, how beautiful is the night when more than one star shines. That means there is room for all of us to be great. And once you decide to accept that fact, you will find your wings will start to spread. Your thinking will start to inform the flight, and you will surely take off and make this world so much more beautiful.
I got something to say.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Hey, when you do get that downtime, whether it's through depression, isolation, or whatever, you got to be careful of what you are putting in your mind. And that's why it is important to consume art in various medium. You know,
Yeah.
you want to feed your body. We were talking about being healthier and all that. If what goes in comes out. So
Yeah.
if it's doom scrolling and you taking in all the negative gossip and drama and trash.
Explain doom scrolling. Explain
Well,
that to
it's just
folks
when you
that don't
find
know
yourself
what it is.
scrolling on social media for hours, and sometimes we tend to get give more attention to something that's negative or salacious or gossipy. And I'm saying, Beyonce is art. Going to the museum is art. Reading is art. And it's like
What you
those are the
put
things
in,
that will.
you get out.
That's what's going to inspire your greatness. It's not the trash. It's not that you will never go through the trash can when you decide to be healthy.
That's
But
it.
guess what? It's a lot of things that you've been refrigerating that needs to go in the trash. So a lot of things you holding dear that you need to put in the trash
Ooh.
if you want to be healthy, physically, mentally, emotionally.
What
You
you
were
put
created
in,
to
you get
leave your
out.
gift on this planet. That is your only job, is
Yes.
to leave your gift with us. And we are not being great stewards of our gifts when we allow our weight, our color, our age, our pocketbook, our neighborhood, our man or lack thereof, anything that keeps us from leaving our gift on the planet. We are not being a good steward of said gift.
There you
That's your
have
only
it,
job.
beautiful people.
It's your only job.
That's it. That's it. That's so well put. Thank you for that, Eunice. Beautiful people. This is the hope in between. Make sure you like, subscribe, lock in with your iHeart podcast and mark us as one of your favorites. Please leave comments and let us know your thoughts in real time. Share this with about 15,000 friends.
Your
I'm just, I
15,000
just
of your closest friends. Yes,
yeah, of your
please.
closest friends, please. But I really hope that this inspired you to get into the win, and you do that by going within. There is so much treasure there, so much treasure there. We miss it when we think that the treasure is found all over everywhere else, when we neglect to see what we have stored up on the inside of us. God didn't make a mistake when he made you. He made it with great intention, that this world would be a better place because you decided to show up and get in it and win it. Much love to you. This is The Hope in Between with Major and Eunice Elliott. Until next time, lock in with us, be with us, pray for us, and let's never lose our hope, because hope ain't ever canceled. Peace. Love y'all.